All right, it is 6 o'clock on this Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. We also have to get over a weather-worn day that you guys declared for tomorrow because of how much snow we're going to get.
Yeah, especially the impacts of tomorrow morning's commute. So we're not calling it for the heaviest amounts of snow or, that it's going to be just crazy snowmageddon, but the timing is not great. This is going to be falling basically during your morning commute. And it could be, we could see the snowfall rates approaching an inch to an inch and a half an hour at times. So yes, it will be a bit on the challenging side.
Yikes. And I feel like we're still digging up from the last storms that we had.
Yeah, St. Paul, right? Continues to dig out. And that heavy wet snow that fell earlier this month, that's not the kind of consistency of snow we're expecting. This should be a little bit fluffier, which is the good news.
Good news.
Yeah, it probably won't be that heavy heart attack snow, but still, regardless, it will have some significant impacts on the roads. Let's take a look outside right now. It is rather quiet. Temperatures rather warm, upper 20s to low 30s across the region with a southerly breeze right now less than 10 miles per hour. The wind's going to kick up out of the northeast later today. And I want to reiterate, today is the quiet day. Looking at temperatures hovering near or just below the freezing mark. Watch for some patchy slick spots on sidewalks, your doorstep, your porches, as that meltwater from last night may have refrozen. We have deemed Thursday a weather-worn day. The snow moves in late tonight, probably not until after 9 o'clock for the Twin Cities Metro, with a little earlier arrival time for southern Minnesota. Thursday's morning commute, it's going to be snowy and it's going to be slow. Looking at 2 to 5 inches of snow around the Twin Cities Metro. Heavier amounts across southern and southeastern Minnesota, but if that band of heavy snow drifts a little further north, we could certainly see some locally higher amounts around the metro as well. For a look at roads this morning, here's Alicia.
Yeah, it might be a good hybrid work day tomorrow for those who can work from home, maybe plan accordingly. This morning, though, as you heard from Ben, it's going to be a good morning drive, good evening drive. And here's a look out of Eden Prairie, 212 at Mitchell Road, where traffic is slowly getting a little bit more crowded. Still, we are crash free on this Wednesday morning. Well, as we've been saying, our roads have really been taking a beating this winter, and the amount of potholes are causing some major headaches and even flat tires for some. So we're used to potholes popping up as the snow starts to melt in the spring, but tonight's incoming winter storm, it's not going to help with the holes that are already causing a lot of damage. So we sent CC to St. Paul once again with more on how cities are now tackling this pothole problem. Good morning, CC.
Good morning. Yeah, that storm that we're getting is not going to help this situation, as you mentioned. But asphalt experts that we spoke to say that how the roads are, the conditions of the roads, it's really strange for January, looking like it's already spring with all the potholes that we're seeing. But experts say the best thing that could happen is if the weather went below freezing and then stayed like that, because we've been doing this freeze thaw, tango, and it really hasn't been helping with that pothole situation. But public works agencies across the Twin Cities say that the same employees who are really working hard to get that snow off of the roads are also operating the snow plows. Same thing over at MnDOT. A spokesperson tells us during the winter they have to work around the storms, and we've been getting quite a few of those. But they are working to fill as many potholes as possible in between those storms. Right now, asphalt contractors say they're using cold patches as just a temporary fix for those potholes.
It could last anywhere from a day to a month. Really, you have to wait until we get some warm weather so we can use the hot mix to fix it permanently.
Erickson went on to say that the best thing that you can do is just to try to watch where you're going and avoid those potholes as best as possible, even though that could be hard depending on where you live. And if you do see potholes on state roads, to please contact MnDOT and report that, because then they can come out and fix it for us. Alicia.
I'm sure tire companies have been busy fixing all those popped tires. All right, Cece, thanks for that report. Yeah. Well, about an hour cruise in St. Paul will hit the streets again to continue removing all the snow in the residential areas. They're doing the east-west streets once again today. St. Paul Public Works Director Sean Kershaw told us that they didn't get to all of the routes and said the snow was harder to lift than they thought. He did give a shout out, though, to everyone for moving their cars. And all day, we're helping you stay ahead of the winter storm heading our way. Another way to stay ahead is by grabbing your phone or tablet and downloading our free KARE 11 weather app. We'll send you weather alerts, forecasts, and you can check the radar at any time. You can find it wherever you get your apps. New this morning, we are working to get more information from the St. Paul Fire Department on this fire. You see flames shooting from the Seventh-day Adventist Church on Minnehaha Avenue East as crews worked to put the fire out. We, of course, will update you as soon as we learn any new details. In about 3 hours, Derek Chauvin's case is in court once again. He's appealing his conviction for murdering George Floyd. Jen is outside the courthouse this morning in St. Paul with details. Hey, Jen.
Yeah, hi, Alicia. 9:30 this morning is when this hearing is set to begin. Right now, Derek Chauvin is serving 22 and a half years in prison for murdering George Floyd. It was just about 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years ago, that a jury convicted Chauvin in state court of that murder charge, among some other charges as well. Now Chauvin's asking the Minnesota Court of Appeals to toss his conviction. Chauvin's attorney argued in his brief to the Court of Appeals that pretrial publicity impacted this case, and it should have been moved somewhere else with the jury sequestered for the entire time. The attorney also argued that evidence that was favorable to Chauvin was excluded. Prosecutors, though, they've said that Chauvin's trial was fair, and there would have been publicity surrounding it no matter where it was held. So here's the thing. Chauvin also has a federal conviction. He pleaded guilty, you might remember, to violating George Floyd's civil rights. He's serving 21 years in prison for that federal conviction, along with this state prison term. He's serving them concurrently. The deal, though, with the federal conviction, as part of his plea, he waived his right to appeal that. So no matter what the Minnesota Court of Appeals decides on this state conviction, Derek Chauvin will stay in prison no matter what, because of that federal term that he's serving. So why appeal at all? Well, the Associated Press this morning is reporting that this case does set a precedent here in Minnesota for future cases involving police officers.
All right, Jennifer Austin reporting live. Thanks for breaking it down for us this morning. 6:06 on this Wednesday, a 17-year-old has been arrested in Georgia in connection to a deadly shooting that happened at the Mall of America. His mother was also arrested yesterday, but here in Minnesota. She's accused of driving him across the country on Christmas Eve, which is the day after the shooting that started with a fight at Nordstrom. 19-year-old Jonte Hudson was killed as the mall went into lockdown full of holiday shoppers. The Bloomington police chief says that he's planning to charge more people for helping the suspects get away.
Anybody that we can determine that's helped any of these folks is going to jail. They will be going to jail when this is over, and we're going to continue to investigate this. And I fully expect that there's probably going to be some more arrests that come out of this.
3 other people, 2 teens and an 18-year-old, have also been charged in the deadly shooting. There's no word yet when this suspect will be extradited to Minnesota. We have a sad update this morning on the deadly shooting that happened outside an Amazon fulfillment center in Lakeville. Earlier this month, a pregnant 31-year-old Kyla O'Neill was shot and killed while dropping her fiance and the father of the baby, Dante McCray, off at work. Her baby, Messiah, was delivered by C-section, and now we're learning from O'Neill's mother that that baby, Messiah, died. We're told he was taken off a ventilator at HCMC last night. Right now, McCray is charged with second-degree murder, and it's likely there's going to be more charges because of Messiah's death. McCray will be in court tomorrow. We're following developing news in Isanti County this morning. Fire crews are investigating what caused a massive fire at a school bus garage in Bram yesterday morning. That's just about an hour north of the Twin Cities. First responders say they heard explosions from inside of the garage. 3 buses were destroyed and a firefighter was treated for exhaustion. The sheriff's office says bus services will not be interrupted due to that explosion. Well, it's clear now, but more snow. A winter storm is expected to hit while we're sleeping tonight. With more on that and the weather warn day tomorrow, Ben. We're used to it at this point, I feel like. My goodness.
Well, I would sure hope so. How many snow events have we dealt with that have been significant? This is probably the 6th or 7th weather warn day that we've issued. And yes, it is going to be a snowy morning commute for your Thursday. We're not expecting huge amounts of snow around the Twin Cities metro, but because of the timing with this, that's the unfortunate part, especially for tomorrow's morning commute. We do have a winter weather advisory for the Twin Cities metro. Less urgent, but still impactful. 2 to 5 inches of snow there. Notice the higher snowfall totals. That's across southern and southeastern Minnesota. That's where we are expecting a half a foot or more. These go into effect later on this evening, and they will be with us through at least midday, or Thursday afternoon and into the evening hours. Here's a live look outside right now. You can see it's just mainly cloudy at the moment. And as we head deeper into the day, that's all we're going to deal with today is just an overcast sky. You can see the snow starting to build into the Nebraska area. That winter storm will shift into the upper Midwest later on tonight and eventually into our neck of the woods. So basically, if you have things to do today, get them done early today. Tomorrow is going to be more or less on the challenging side. Strong low pressure system moves in from the south and east. The snow will be moving in from the south, I'd say by it looks like 7, 8 o'clock tonight, moving into the I-90 corridor. Not until later in the overnight hours, that's when the snow moves into the Twin Cities metro, and it will be heavy overnight. And unfortunately, the heaviest snow is going to be falling near and just before tomorrow morning's commute. So road crews are not going to have time to clear out the roads. That's what's going to make tomorrow morning's commute so challenging. By the afternoon hours, the snow begins to slowly move out of the region, and by Thursday evening, you can start your shoveling totally out of the area by the time we get into Friday morning. How much snow are we expecting? On the range of about 2 to 5 inches of snow around the Twin Cities metro. Higher totals for south central and southeastern Minnesota, where 1/2 foot or maybe a little bit more is possible. And you can see lighter snowfall amounts further north and west. Princeton, Buffalo, Maple Lake only looking about 2-3 inches of snowfall, and most of the heaviest snow again should be wrapped up by Thursday's evening commute. So just clouds today. But as we head into tomorrow, that's when things are going to be a bit more challenging, we'll say. Weather-worn day for your Thursday. Drier and quieter this weekend, but temperatures staying seasonably warm for this time of year, only reaching the mid-teens for overnight lows. Alicia?
Ben, thanks. Well, this morning, Minneapolis officials are touting the success of a new program, how it's helping the community in less than 5 minutes. And the clock is ticking for the U.S. as it's getting closer to hitting the debt ceiling, what this could mean for your wallet. And at 6:15, a first-of-its-kind healing center for burn survivors is opening its doors in Minneapolis today, and we're getting a sneak peek inside. Stick around. Sunrise is back after this break.